It's nice to see you. It's nice to have you here. It's currently towards the end of July. I'm hoping to get this edited within the week and up for you. I can't wait to show you everything. I'm going to do my stitching stuff first, and then in the back end do more of my journaling stuff. So before I left, and as you would know, I started in my last video, I had a whole bunch of new starts. I haven't stitched on all of them. I finished 2, but I really only worked on one big project. So as you know, this is not the right bag for this project, but it was in here when I finished it. But as you know, I did start Christmas Garden by Blackbird Designs, which is in the Home for the Holidays book. I just ended up stitching on it monogamously. I loved it. I really wanted to finish a sampler. So just to refresh your memory, I stitched this on 40 count parchment by Weeks Dye Works, and the threads I did with the called for over dyed cottons, which was only 4 colours. It was a Classic Colourworks and Gentle Arts combination. I needed to end up getting another skein of Calico Kitty, I think it was, but I ended up having plenty. I just got a bit nervous. So I didn't have any issues with dye lots, and that was fine to replace it. Okay. This is my finish of Christmas Garden by Blackbird Design. You will notice I've put some tags on top. I ended up stitching with 5 names, including myself, and in the chart, it's charted to put 3 initials, 3 quite big initials. I think it was lettering over 2. It decided I wanted to stitch 1 over 1 with the first name. So just for privacy, I've just covered majority of the names that I've put, but just to show you what that looked like, you'll see here one of the names that I've stitched is Greta. I love the way that it's come out. So that's Christmas Garden, all done. I was sad to finish stitching it. I just adored stitching on this. Just to show you up close, that is what the 1 over 1 stitching looks like. So before I went away, I also did a very quick start and finish. So this is Grandpa's Pickup, which is the Farmhouse Christmas collection by Little House Needlework. This, I believe, comes in a series of 9, and you can put all 9 together, or you can do them singly as ornaments. And I just decided to whip this up. I was thinking about engaging in the smalls exchange in the retreat, and so I stitched this up just in case I did want to do that, and so hence why I did it before I went away. So this is my start and finish on Grandpa's Pickup. That name doesn't really match this in my opinion. Anyway, this is Stitch in the DMC that is called for. I can't remember exactly what linen. This is just a scrap piece of linen that I used, an offcut from one of my bigger pieces, and it's just so sweet. I think I've ultimately decided I'm not going to engage in the smalls exchange for my first time. At the moment, I haven't fully finished it because I can't decide on how I want to finish it. It's obviously finished in the chart as an ornament, and I've got the bell and I've got some finishing to finish it as an ornament, but I actually just don't know if I ever would use it as an ornament. So I'm toying with the idea of making it into a pillow, but I can't decide. I haven't yet decided. So I haven't yet fully finished it, and I'm just waiting for a decision to kind of come to me. So this was a really quick stitch. So that was another finish. Whilst I was away, we were away for a monumental life event, but also it was a monumental birthday. So this was a birthday start, a bit of a life achievement start, and it was also a bit of a summer stitch. And so I put a lot of thought into what I wanted to stitch. So anyway, I ended up deciding to start and monogamously work on Sarah Milthorpe 1834 by Hands Across the Sea. This is my first reproduction sampler that I've worked on, and the reason I chose this is essentially for the colours. This is such a bright piece of work. The colours are just unreal. So I don't know, I just thought this was like the epitome of summer. I liked how big it was. It felt like an achievable. I thought I'd make some good progress on it in the 5 weeks that I was away. And that's what I decided to start. So I genuinely packed this with my linen. I hadn't put a single stitch in it and took this away with me. And I monogamously stitched on this for 5 weeks in my travels. And I made pretty decent progress. So I took it away in my antique project bag, and it's with Hands Across the Sea designs. You've got options of the 103s, Soie d'Alger or DMC, and I just decided to stitch it with the DMC. I don't know, I've said it before, I like DMC and I really like the colours. I thought there was no real need to do this one in the silks, and so I decided to do it with the DMC. The colours are so bright and so fun. And let's just show you. So I'm stitching this on number 12 Stitch Co's Colour Bondi on a 40 count. And I made an order for number 12 Stitch Co on Etsy before I left, and it came in a couple of days before I went away. It's a really nice stitching experience, to be honest. My piece is a little bit big. Make sure I don't set it on fire. This is my progress on Sarah Milthorpe. So I'm pretty close to a finish. I've really only got this corner left to do, which is my stitching plans for today. I'm going for a finish before I head on my retreat on Wednesday. And then I've just got to put in my text up the top here. I am going to change the text. So the text is charted to say, the loss of time is much, the loss of grace is more, the loss of Christ is such, and as no man can restore. I'm going to change that, and I'm going to make a bit of an omen to the birthday start that this was and the monumental life event that it was. So I'm going to put a line of text, the date, a line of text, and then my birthday. I do need to chart it still. I'm going to use the original text to try and, like, obviously the letters are charted for the saying that Sarah wrote. So I'm going to use those as a model, and then the letters that I'm missing, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do there, but I'll figure that out. So I don't think I'm going to get that top text in before my retreat, but I should get this last corner done before I went away. The colours on this are so bright and so fun. This was my first time doing specialty stitches. These are Algerian eyelets with the first letters of the cartouche. They are over, I mean, they're technically over 2, but by the way of the legs of the Algerian eyelet, it is very squishy. So you can't really appreciate the Algerian eyelet specialty stitch because it just looks like a bit of a lump of stitches, but it does help make the first letter of the words really stand out. Otherwise, it's just 1/1 for those words, and up the top here, as I mentioned, it'll be 1/1, and I will do the Algerian eyelets up there to match the bottom as well. That's Sarah Milthorpe. Loved working on it. All right, that's really been all my stitching. I've worked monogamously on those 2 samplers and obviously made some good progress. So I don't have any other new starts to show you, nor anything I've stitched on. It's been pretty straightforward. I did do a little bit of sewing before I went away. I mentioned to you in my last video that I bought the French General Fabrics to make the thread catcher by Curry Bungalow that I originally saw on So Tattered, and I made it. It was this is going to be so hard to show you. This was so fun to make. It really, I really ended up doing some different sewing, and I thought it was really good for my skills. I did a patchwork style basket, which was a little bit like, that's not what was in the pattern, but it was relatively straightforward to patchwork this together and then follow the instructions as said, and the instructions were just so clear and really easy to follow. So in my basket, it's got some boning in the top here to make it quite structured. I did insert the little tab so that I can carry my scissors in there. I made the little weighted pillow. This is filled with walnut crystals. So I use this as a pin cushion and it sharpens my pins when I put them in there. This is Velcroed to the top, so you can take that off if you were so keen. And then this is a painter's tile, and then you make a little casing with this like non-slip mat, like it's like a kitchen mat. So that way you can put this with the weight of the sewing pillow and then the grippy on the bottom of the tile. It sits so well on the table. It's never fallen off. It doesn't slide at all. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Maybe I didn't link it. I'll link the pattern down below if you're interested. So I got that done. And then the only other thing I sort of kind of made, which is a little bit part of my haul, I'll haul it later in more detail, but just to show you. In my last video, I went to Winterwood and got that really big piece of felt. In combining my love for the Traveler's Notebook, the Traveler's Notebook came out with the 20th anniversary card size needlebook, and I'm very much a collector of anything Traveler's Notebook and Superior Labor. I love collecting, but a little bit of my ethos is I'm not going to collect for the sake of collecting. I need to use the things that I buy. I did turn it into a needlebook, and I saw this. I don't remember the creator, but there was someone on Instagram who was gifted or found their relatives, their mum or grandmother's needlebook, and it was in a leather little diary like this, and that's where I got the idea. I'll see if I can find it, and if so, I'll put it on the screen or link it below. And that's what I turned this into, and I made it with the felt. I'll show you inside, and I've used it ever since, and I just really like it. So cute little guy. And then I cut down my felt to make pages. So I think I made it so that they just go into slide into the band like one of the inserts as usual. And I use it as a needlebook. So at the moment, these are all my needles and threads for Sarah Milthorpe, but I made pages so that way when I'm working on multiple projects, I can have kind of like a thread bed per project. It just feels like a really good use of this size. Obviously this is teeny tiny. It would be hard to journal in it, although like not impossible. I've seen people make it into a wallet, but this has just combined everything for me. So this has been living in my Winterberry case. I took it away with me. It's just great. It's unreal. So I'll do a proper haul of the card size box that I did get later in the stationery section, but to show you what I've been using it for, that's that. Okay, that is everything that I've been working on. It feels like not a lot, but it's also been all my time. So I suppose it's time to get into stash. I'm so excited. Again, there's a lot. So I'm going to start with the stitching stuff. I'll start with the stitchery recap and haul, and then I'll get into my other haul that I've collected along the way. Okay. I need to organize a timeline of events here, because otherwise I'm just going to be so lost. So I'm just going to quickly show you the other two linens I bought from No. 12 Stitch Co. before I went away, just because they're so nice and I really like them. So I ended up getting a small piece. I wanted to just try them first, so I ordered 3 pieces of the linen. I am obviously using Bondi for Sarah Milthorpe. I also got a 40 count salted caramel, which was, I got a fat eighth. This is a really lovely warm color. Let me see if I can show you. It's quite, I don't know if this would be technically classified as like a tight weave or if it's just the feeling of the new linen, but it's quite a firm, stiff, I suppose, feeling. Not crazy stiff, but just stiffer than something like Weeks Dye Works. I don't know, my Bondi has definitely softened as I've used it, and probably the oil of my hand has gone into the linen. But on initial, it kind of feels like needle and flax, if you're familiar with that feeling. I'll see if I can just zoom in a little bit. It's got some very mild modeling. It's very warm. I really like that. Just a fat 1/8. I think I got that because it might have been the only one available. And then that's in comparison to Age Flax. So I got this in a 40 count in a fat 1/4. So it's 15 by 27 inches. So this is quite a cooler color, more of like a gray color. Very neutral, very mild modeling, not particularly modeled. And again, it has a very similar feeling. So that was Age Flax. So I got those two. I will probably replenish my Bondi linen. I just thought that was such a lovely basic, and I do want to get a couple others. So I will be putting in another order there. Okay, getting into the stitchery. Straight off the bat, I want to apologize. A relative weakness of mine is remembering Instagram handles. I am terrible at it. Even now, when I've met people and put a face to the Instagram account, it is a relative weakness of mine. I cannot remember Instagram handles. So I'm not going to bother trying to remember them off the top of my head. I'll put them on the screen and link them down below. But boy, I made a bit of a fool of myself at the stitchery when such lovely people, Julie Layden, who I just looked up because I wanted to get that right. Julie Layden, who I love her Instagram, love her work, just adore. She was at the stitchery. It was an absolute highlight to meet her. And she goes, "Oh, the Bramble Nook. I follow the Bramble Nook." And I was like, "Oh, that's incredible. That's amazing. I would have never, ever thought that anyone would remember my handle." And she goes, "Yeah, you follow me." And I was like, "Oh, do I?" Because I just genuinely have no idea the handles of the Instagram. So full disclosure. Anyway, I'm going to put everyone's handles on the screen. This might be an inflated thing to say, but I mean it so sincerely. Getting to go to the stitchery workshop, or the stitchery HQ, the shop, the space, with the Stitchery Sisters for a workshop, truly bucket list. It was when it was the quickest thing I've ever purchased was a ticket to that workshop event. It was amazing that it coincided with my trip. It was I didn't know how I was going to get there. It is in Northampton, so it's about 90 minutes out of London via train. It was a bit of a mission to figure out how to get there, but I got there via public transport from London, and it's difficult to communicate my joy of the day and my just love for the experience. It has set my soul on fire to make sure I go to as much retreats as possible. To be in a room full of people who stitch was just beyond. To see other people's work was so inspiring. To introduce myself and meet other stitchers that I follow was just unreal. I met Sarah from the Stitchery Sisters, and she is just divine. Her wonderful partner came and picked me up from the train station. What a hoot he is. Sarah made the day just so seamless and so enjoyable, and made it so much easier for me in terms of helping me with transport. It was I couldn't speak highly enough of it. So if you ever get the opportunity to do one of those workshops, I'd highly recommend it. When we got there, I met Sarah Deer from SJ Stitches. She was just so warm and welcoming and invited me to sit on her table, where I met some amazing other ladies, in particular Claire, Leslie, Emma. Obviously I was sitting next to Sarah. Opposite me was Belle and Steph, who, when I was talking to Steph, I was like, we shared kind of Instagrams, and I was like, "Oh, I already follow you." It was just unreal. And next to Steph was Pauline, who was just everyone was just incredible stitchers. It was so cool to see everyone's work and stitchy cases, and I couldn't be more thrilled. I also got to meet Sarah, and another Sarah from Sarah Elizabeth, who was just so beautiful and so lovely and welcoming. And it was just amazing. And then throughout the day, I learnt that Pauline from PGC, I'll put it on the screen, something. Pauline was there. I love Pauline's work. I've been a big fan of Pauline's work. And so I made sure to go over and have a bit of a fangirl moment. She was so lovely and it was so nice to chat to her. And she introduced me to Julie, who I made a bit of a fool of myself with, but love Julie. She was just an absolute legend, and she had an amazing little lineup of her animal crackers. That was really cool to see. And then they had their friend Sue there, and Sue was just divine. So I couldn't speak highly enough of the experience. I hope to one day be back there. I will travel back there. It was just, it was unreal. I've got some photos on my Instagram of the space, so please go over to my Instagram and have a look at that post. But I was there for a reason. I was there for the Reynard animal cracker, which I've wanted to do Reynard anyway. He was next on my animal cracker list. So that was awesome. We got a full kit. So let me show you. So the kit was given to us in this little bag with the Stitchery sisters. Obviously, I'm going to frame this and cherish it forever. And in it, we got the pattern, which, let me get that in a sec. And then we also, it was kitted on Picture This Plus Legacy, which was a little green, which I have heard can be a little bit on the green tinge. I didn't get a lot of stitching done, as you can imagine, in what I've heard, but I got a bit of a start. Sarah also, so it was kitted for 36 count, but Sarah was really accommodating and happy to swap it out for a 40 count. So this is a 40 count, and it was kitted with all the weeks. So these are all the weeks that it came with, and I'm pretty sure this was Sarah Deer gave us a little, what are these called? I call them floss drops, but I actually think it's the whole thing that's a floss drop. Is this like a floss charm or a floss bling? I don't know. Can someone tell me what this is? So anyway, so Sarah very kindly made this. It's so cute. So I put all my weeks on there, and so this was kitted with all the weeks. And then we also got the backing fabric. So this is just a really nice stripe. And I can't remember, this must be for his bag that he has, his little bag. So wait, let me get the chart. Okay, so if you're not familiar, I'm sure you all are, this is Reynard's The Animal Cracker by Stacey Nash. So as I said, I think this is for the back of his bag, but I'm not entirely sure. I do make all the accessories for the animal crackers. I think the accessories are so cute. So I do all of them. I will do his bag as well. That's the chart there. So we got all of that in the kit. And as I said, it was just so fun. It was just so fun to start this. I did purchase, I haven't hauled it, but I did purchase the Halo Glow 2 lamp, the one that everyone has that is rechargeable. I have loved that. That was really handy to take on travel with me. The battery lasts, I don't need the full brightness. I just need the first level of brightness. And that lasted the whole day. It was just, yeah, it was, I can't speak highly enough of it. You can also just plug it in and use it so that it's kind of powered and it's not running off the battery. So that's worked really well. So we started this. I haven't worked on Reynard since the retreat because I have been working monogamously on Sarah Milthorpe, but I will be starting him when I get back from my retreat, my Christmas and July retreat. So I do want to finish him next, and I really like seeing everyone's animal crackers lined up was so inspiring. I just want to do all the animal crackers. I know everyone feels that way, but I just want to do all of them. So I have already purchased, no spoilers, but I have got Clovis and Maggie May already. So I've done Miss Hazel and Bobbin. Reynard's next, and I've got the charts, and we'll do Clovis and Maggie May there next, and then it's a free for all. I don't know. They're all in trouble. I'm going to stitch all of them. So had so much fun working on this, and yeah, keen to get back to him. Okay, so then we got a couple of table gifts. I was really kicking myself. It just didn't occur to me to do table gifts for this workshop. It was all a little bit last minute, so I I do question whether I would have even had time if I had thought about it, but it just escaped me. So, the beautiful, she was so beautiful. Sarah Elizabeth, I'll put her name down. Her mum makes project bags, and her mum made everyone these little project bags for the retreat. Are you joking? Is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen? And then it's got a little fox, has a little charm. This is just so stunning. Sarah was telling me that her mum makes bags in the UK. So it's like So Bee bags, I think, but I'll put it up. So if you're keen on bags, go check Sarah's mum out. But I was so thrilled to have this. So I'm obviously going to put Reynard in here. I've kept all my other gifts in this little pouch. I'm kind of kicking myself, and I'm so sorry. I've blurred together who gifted what, and so I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be able to remember who gave every gift, and I'm so sorry. But I'm going to show you them, and if they've got names, I will obviously share that. Sarah also gifted this little floss ring with some floss bling. I'm making this up now. Someone please tell me what these are called. It's got some really lovely flowers. These stunning little floss bling. And then we had a lot of fox themes, obviously. I can't remember who made these. It might have also been Sarah, Elizabeth. I'm so sorry if it wasn't. These cool little floss cards. A little fairy with some ribbon. I got a lot of charms. I cannot remember. I'm so sorry who gave all these little charms, but naturally they're all fox themed for Reynard. He was the star of the show. How cute. And then we were also gifted, someone also gifted, Made with Love by Claire. Thanks Claire for putting your name on it. That's so good. Sorry, that's so crinkly. So, Made with Love by Claire. Thank you so much, Claire. This is so cool. I love this. People are so creative. These are such cool bag charms. So I'm going to put that on a bag charm. It's going to have to be on, maybe not this one, but a different one. Thank you so much, and I'm so sorry I didn't come prepared with my own table gifts. Now onto the haul. I guess I'll start with the Stitchery, the shop with Nikki Franklin shop. So I've never done embroidery. I don't know how to do embroidery, but how can you not love Nikki's designs? Like, it's just impossible. So I did get a kit. I always intended to get a kit. I just need to pick which one. And so I did get the Blue Coat embroidery kit. I just saw everyone's Beatrix Potter retreat, and it was just so cool and so sweet. That retreat looked unreal. And so when I saw the kit here, I was like, oh, no brainer. I do want to try and make it into the needlebook, but I'm gonna need to do some research on how to do that. But it came with the whole kit, so it comes with the instructions, the linen, the threads, and it does come with the ribbon as well. So I can't remember how much this was. It was 40 something pounds. But I was thrilled to get that, and I'm really keen to do that. And then she had so many kits there, so it was slightly overwhelming, and I just decided to get one just to try it out before I commit to getting multiple. And I also picked up this little pack. I think these might be Fat 8s. I'm not entirely sure, and I actually don't know what brand this is. I'm wondering if it's Accufactum, but I'm not sure. So it's got some really lovely patterns. I thought these would be really good for backing any smalls. Can you see that? Any smalls. The fabrics are just very fine. So I picked that up. That was £8. I thought that was a steal. So that's what I picked up at the Stitchery. I did a huge deep dive into the Stitchery, and I was introduced to Sue Phillips when I was deep diving the Beatrix Potter retreat and watching all the videos. And Sue Phillips runs Homespun with Love, and Sue and Nikki seem to collaborate a lot from what I understand. And so on Sue's website, she advertises that she has a small collection of her work at the Stitchery, and I was really keen to try and purchase some of her work when I was there. Unfortunately, they didn't have anything in stock, which was a little bit sad. But that's okay. I made some purchases online that I'll show you in a little bit. So I did get some stuff. In terms of what I picked up on the day from Sarah, the Stitchery Sisters, I got 2 charts. The first one, I got the Mice Mascot chart because she had the models there and they were just so cute. So I will probably do the Mice Mascot, but I actually picked this up because I wanted this little guy. Are you joking? He or she, maybe a she was stitched and modeled there, and it was just an instant buy. I actually didn't realize, and I think it was Claire who told me that this little mascot was in this chart, otherwise I wouldn't have known. So if you are interested in stitching this little strawberry guy, you need to buy this chart. Thank you, Claire. And I also got the allotment charm. I actually pre-ordered this one. I just think this is so cute. It's such a small little stitch, but I just think it's so lovely as a little accessory. So I kind of want to get a little like wicker basket to eventually put my animal crackers in, and I want to hang this off. I saw someone, I think it was Shan, Periwinkle Stitcher, she put this on a wicker basket and it just looked unreal. So that's what inspired me and I got that. And then I got a lot of linen. Let me show you. I got a lot of linen. So I don't know. I at the time thought that I couldn't get Tabby Cat in Australia. I think I can, but I don't know where the stock is. Like, I don't think there's a lot of stock. I also can't get XJU in Australia. So I picked up a bunch of linen. Let's go through it. So to start off with, I got this piece. This is needle blings. Oh, that's right. There's also a bunch of needle bling in here. That's why I can't get needle bling in Australia. It's really hard to find. So I got needle bling pumpkin pie. I got a 40 count in a fat quarter. This is quite orange, but I really like it. It's like a really warm orange. And I just thought that was really unique. I thought I could use that. I then got needle bling suede. This obviously a classic for the animal crackers. I got this in a 36 count only because that was all that was available, and I got a fat 1/8, a classic. I then got Tabby Cat cockle shell. I got a 40 count in a fat quarter. I picked this up on the day. I thought this was just a really lovely color. I hadn't heard many people talk about cockle shell or use it, but it just looks like a really nice neutral. So I picked that guy up. This highlight, I can't believe I got some of this. This is XJU's Marbled Bunny in a 40 count fat quarter. You're joking. Look at that modeling. This is such a good neutral. It's like a warmer Thornfield is probably how I would describe it. Really nice. When I picked this up, Sarah from the Stitchery Sisters said that it was her favorite, and I agree. This is quite a funny color. This almost, it looked quite yellow in the store, but then in other lighting it looks really green. This is Grace Notes Fabrics in Pistachio. I guess the name would suggest, Pistachio Frappe. I guess that suggests it's more of a green. And this is a 40 count fat 1/8. Yeah, mottled green. Pretty cool. Pick that up in store, so I did know the color when I picked that up. Sometimes when I order online, I'm doing it a little bit blind. Next, I got Needle Bling Heirloom, a 40 count fat 1/8. This is kind of less mottled, but has a little bit, and it's just quite a creamy linen. I got Needle Bling Broomgrass, 40 count fat 1/8. Highly mottled, kind of like a greeny brown. I don't have any color like that, but I'd seen Shan recently stitch something on an equivalent kind of color, and I just thought it looked really cool, so I thought it'd be a good one to have in my collection. Next is Needle Bling Shrekie's Tan. I got a 40 count in a fat 1/8. I would have gotten more of this if it was available, but it just wasn't available. Again, great neutral. really warm. I have learned that I really like the warm linens opposed to the cool. And then I got Tabby Cat creme brulee 40 count fat quarter. I know this seems to be pretty hit or miss in terms of whether people like it. This seemed like a really good cut. I got some, obviously part of it is really highly modeled, but I think that's just so usable. So I'm thrilled with that. It's not, I know it can be really kind of hit or miss in terms of how much of a modeled piece you got, but I seem to get a not so modeled one. So I'm thrilled with that. I know a lot of pieces call for creme brulee, so absolutely thrilled. So that's everything I got from the Stitchery Sisters and the Stitchery. Loved, like, just couldn't speak highly enough of that experience. Couldn't speak highly enough of the products. I just love it. And as I mentioned, I was really hopeful that I could get some products from Homespun with Love. Unfortunately, they didn't have anything in stock. So I did make an order whilst I was there, and it's just arrived and I'm obsessed. So I got two things. She seems to have like just, you know, a small amount of stock. She's only a small little business. But I got these two things. I am obsessed with him. Obsessed. Are you joking? That's the cutest thing I've ever seen. So I think he's got a big piece of thread on his arm. So I think you could hang him kind of like this. Oh, you can't really see, you just see my hand, but you can kind of hang him like this and he hangs really nicely. I've had him sitting against my stitching case and I just, like, you're kidding. At the time, she only had the blue patch on the bum, but which I like is so sweet. I probably would have gone for the red, and she has restocked the red since, but she can do no wrong. This is the sweetest thing ever. And then because I was putting an order in, I also got this, I think this is a vintage fabric from a quilt that she makes into a needle book, and it comes with a little tie. And then there's just a really sweet little bed for your needles. And it's just the sweetest thing ever. It's got some little lace on the side. Absolutely adorable. So I'm really happy that I picked these up. Even though I couldn't get them in person, it's totally okay. I'm so thrilled. So that's everything from here. But not everything, not even close. Okay, on to the next haul. So to stay on the theme of stitching and textile stuff, I did get a few things. So when I was at the Stitchery Sisters workshop, I was having a chat to Pauline. She recommended I go to Loop London, which was a great shout, and I ended up picking up a few things. It was a really sweet shop. It was more related to knitting and like woolen products, but they had a few things that I was interested in. So the first was this nurse hoop. I got the number 3. This just feels such lovely quality. I haven't ever felt a nurse hoop before. I've had just real cheapies from Spotlight that are like, I don't know, in a really cheap material. And I've had issues with hoops marking my linen to the point that I can't get it out. So I got this nurse hoop. It feels like a really lovely size. I prefer to be a hoop stitcher, but I just have moved to a Q-snap because it's been easier to get the marks out. But I'm going to try this, and I'm going to get some twill tape and see if I can use this instead. So I'm thrilled about that. And this was £10. I was so impressed with that. They also had Kohana. So I just did get the little snips. These are so much smaller than I had realized looking at them online. They are teeny tiny. They're so much smaller than I expected. They're just, I mean, do I need to say anything? They're so cute, and they're just sitting in my little stitchy case. I got the little pink tassel. I just thought these were so sweet. So I picked those up. And then I also got this cotton ribbon. I don't know technically what these are called, but I see so many people use it and it looks so stunning for finishing. So I picked up 2. I got blush and fresh eggs. I'm hoping this is kind of the right stuff. It looks like the right stuff. Either way, I'll use it for finishing. It was so sweet. So I picked those things up. And then across my travels, I kind of just kept finding little pouches, and I thought they'd be really cool in project bags, for project bags. So the first one I got was this red one. I got this in Florence from a shop called Miato. I think it's hand quilted, and on the inside it's got a brass zipper, which I just thought was so nice. And then on the inside we've just got a plain beige sort of fabric. And obviously I think it's probably intended for a laptop case, but it's a perfect project bag. So I got that in Florence. And then in Florence I also found there was a shop called Studioteca, which was a really cool kind of like homeware shop. And they had this little quilted pouch. And so I got this, I don't know if it's branded by Studioteca, but on the inside is again just a little pink pouch. So again, thought that would be cute for like, I don't know, threads or a very small project. And then when I was in London, we obviously went to Harrods. So I ended up buying this pouch, or this like series of pouches. So I thought I could use this as a project bag, to be honest. And that was kind of my intent. It's kind of like a acrylic kind of feeling. So my only concern would be the transfer of the green onto my linen. But I feel like the inside is almost like it's almost like plastic coated. So I feel like the color shouldn't transfer. But I just thought this was so cool. I love the Harrod bear, obviously. And so I decided to accessorize it with another little pouch, which I thought if I ever did like a silk project, this would be so good, like a marking sampler. I could put the silk in this pouch, and then, I mean, he had to obviously have a bear. So I kind of made this little kit. So that was sort of my stitching stuff that I got. I also got these scissors. There was a cross-stitch specific shop in Florence that we went to. Got these little embroidery scissors. I've been using them ever since. I thought they were just a really cool design. So I picked these up. That was all the stitching stuff. I'm just going to move that to the side. I also, kind of moving away from the stitching stuff, but more into the antique space, I did collect a lot of brass products. I love brass as a material, and I love the look of brass, and I just found myself collecting it. So there was a gentleman who, in Florence, I'll put the name of the square. There's a really famous square in Florence where they have a market every day. They have a really cute cafe there. And there was a man with his van who he had just like tubs or like trays, I guess, of brass products, of like, I'm talking like sconces, door knockers, candle stick holders, so much stuff, like just really random, but all Italian brass products that he'd sourced across Italy. And I just couldn't say no. I went back there, I think 3 times, and made purchases every time. So the first thing I got was this candlestick holder, because how could I possibly walk away from this? So it comes with a little snuff that like sits on top like a little gnome, but you can also put the little snuff there. Need I say more? You can also, it's got a little lever on the side, so you can lift up your candlestick when it drops down. You're kidding. This is also so heavy. So it was a pretty diabolical decision for me to travel with this for 5 weeks, but I did. And I'm so glad I did. So I got that. And then from the same guy, I got this little brass iron. He said it was just ornamental. I mean, kind of obviously, but it's got a wooden little handle. It's got a little functional lifter that kind of peeks in there. I just thought this was so cool. Also so heavy, but it was just there was just no way I could leave it. And then he had heaps of frames. So I ended up finding this really small little frame. I just love this. Like, yeah, there was no world where I was leaving this behind. It has a really long kind of stand on it, so it stands up really nicely. I was thinking I might put a little cross stitch in there, but I'm not sure. I don't have very specific plans. Sorry, I don't have very specific plans for that yet. I got those, and then when I was in London, we went to an antique market in Chiswick. This market was it was the best antique market I've ever been to, and one of the stores had these tiny little brass candlestick holders. Teeny tiny. And we know how I feel about a candlestick holder. So I picked those up. These were pretty cheap. They were £14. I was very impressed with that. Got those. When I was in Florence, sorry, I'm jumping all over the place, but from Studio Teca, which is where I got that small little pink pouch, they also had this brass hand, but it's a paper holder, so you can, let me see if I can show you. You can put a piece of paper in it, so it helps stand it up, like that. I thought that was so cool. What a unique, I don't know, what a unique brass item experience. I've been talking too long. So I picked that up. Thought that was so cool. Also so heavy. I can't believe I got 5, technically 6 pieces of brass. They are so heavy. So I got those. Love them. Honestly, highlight. When I was at Chiswick Antique Market, we did buy some art. And I know this is like a journaling cross-stitch channel, but I'm also all about the antiques. And so when I saw this, I was like, I don't know how I'm getting it back to Melbourne. I don't know where it's fitting in my suitcase, but I fear I actually can't walk away from this market without it. You ready? This is her. It's in quite an ornamental frame. As you can see, it's like, oh, you're kidding. And I just love it. It's an oil painting. The seller bought it from Dorset in the 1920s. We got it home, safe and sound. All was fine. It's so heavy, but our luggage was okay. So this was maybe my favorite purchase of the whole trip. That's everything I got. That was kind of homewares. I suppose now I'll move into, oh, one more thing, sorry. When we're in Florence, obviously Michelangelo is a big deal over there. He is a big deal anyway. So we really dug into the Medici family. We went to the Medici Chapel and a lot of the Medici family history. And I just loved that. We loved the statues, obviously. And so I just picked up this little Michelangelo figurine. He's actually like a stone little sculpture. So I also picked him up. So now that is everything I got. That was stitching related, homeware, brass, antique related. So I guess now we move into the stationery section. So if you're not into the stationery, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. I think this is already going to be really long. I'm going to whiz through some of the stationery stuff. That's not true. I probably won't whiz, but we'll do the stationery stuff next. And then I think that'll be it. Okay, the stationery section. I did take a short break. I did make myself a coffee. There is only so long you can hear your own voice. So we're back for the stationery portion. So I really only wanted to special mention the 20th anniversary card size set. This is the leather journal that I'm using for my Nita book that I showed you at the start of this video. I purchased mine. I pre-ordered it through Bookbinders. Seamless experience. I have seen on forums that some people have had trouble getting their hands on it. I had no trouble. I pre-ordered it. It arrived as planned. So I got the brown, of course. I only collect the brown. I haven't got a black journal. I actually haven't used anything else that's in here. So in the back, that's your zipper folder. And then a little craft folder insert. That was the 20th anniversary card size set that arrived before I went away. Before I went away, I also decided I needed to get, I did not need, but I wanted to get a portable printer for journaling because I didn't have a wireless printer. So at the moment I had the Canon Selfie, the big one. I can't remember what the code is for that one. I'll put it on the screen. That one you need to plug it in and it needs power. It's wonderful. It prints, I think it's 6x4" photos standard, and I tend to just cut those up. It's not on sticker paper. Love that printer, but it's quite big. It's, it's like this big. So I didn't want to take that traveling with me. It's also quite heavy. So I wanted to get a cordless portable printer. And I did a lot of research into which one I wanted to get, and I ultimately landed on the Canon Selfie, I think it's a QX20, but I purchased that one. So that's this, actually it should, yeah, QX20. This is, I could not recommend it enough, to be honest. I was so thrilled with how this worked. I purchased the printer, and then on Amazon, I wanted the card size sticky paper, which I ordered on Amazon for $50. It came from Japan. It came with 60 sheets of paper and then the cartridges to go with it. I printed so many photos to journal with whilst I was away and didn't get close to using all 60 sheets. I was really happy with the printing quality. I know people get really technical and comparative on the quality of the print. I'm not too bothered. I'm pretty easygoing with if I can see the photo, I'm pretty happy. I'm not too bothered by the colouring. So I'm happy. I was really happy with the printer quality. The sticker paper, the sheets of paper in comparison to my bigger Selfie, the sticker paper is thinner. And so I prefer to use a Tomo River, the lightweight paper. I like the lightweight Traveler's Journal inserts. But I find that the paper that is used for the bigger Selfie is too heavy in GSM for the lightweight paper. Really weighs the paper down. It doesn't do very well. But the QX20 paper is much thinner. And I really, really like the way it sits on the lightweight paper. So I think this is going to turn into my go-to printer. And I wanted to just mention that for anyone that's interested in a portable printer. In terms of the travel journal that I took away, and I took my Delphonics, I packed my Delphonics pouch with everything. That was my kit for journaling. I'm really sorry, I didn't think to keep that together and film it. So I've already disassembled it, but that worked really well. And in terms of my travel journal, I only took this. So I took my passport, Starbucks Reserve Roastery Special Edition Camel notebook. And I put in it 2 inserts, a sticker sheet insert and a lightweight paper insert. And I wanted it all in one place. So obviously it's pretty chunky now. We're at the end of my travels. It's the lightweight paper insert that's gotten quite thick. It was really perfect. So I'm going to just do the quickest flip through. If you want a more detailed flip through, let me know. I can do that. In the front, I've just got a plastic zipper pouch, and this is just housing any bits of ephemera that I collected, bits of scraps that I thought would be useful, some photos that I printed that didn't get used. This is my lightweight paper insert that I covered with some wrapping paper. For example, this is a spread that I did when we went to Uffizi. No. Galleria dell'Accademia. This is where Michelangelo's David is. So it was a spread all about David. This is a spread that I created that I'm actually really proud of. So I started cutting down postcards to fit the passport, and I rounded off the edges, it meant that I could then start using all the postcards that I collected. And so we went to the Medici Chapel, and this was part of the artwork on the roof, on the ceiling, and I got the postcards to collect it because I just loved the ceiling. And this is the insert. So I created a bit of like a window with the postcards, and you'll notice I've used wrapping paper to help decorate my spreads. This is another spread. This is from Uffizi. That's my lightweight paper insert where I did all my journaling, and then in the stick insert I also just put some wrapping paper on it, and this is just where I put a collection of stickers that I thought would be ideal for traveling, and any stickers I collected on the trip I put in here as well. In the back is the other half of the plastic insert where I've just got bigger stickers that aren't in a, they're more like a vinyl sticker. So I've got some of those there. That's what I took away with me. Moving into haul whilst I was away. I need a sip of coffee. A lot of the ephemera and postcards that I collected are already in my journal. In Florence, there's a chain called Signum. It was by far the best stationery that I found in Florence, particularly the one that's really close, like I'm talking the next street over from the Duomo in the like city centre. I really recommend that one if you're going to Florence and into stationery. In particular, I purchased a few bits and pieces. I also purchased wrapping paper. They've got sections of wrapping paper that was really handy for putting in the background of my spreads or using as like a washi tape kind of situation. And so this front one here, the map, this, as you can see, I've already cut into it. Oh, very much cut into it. This kind of blue with kind of gold foiling. This one and this one were all from Signum that I collected along the way. And as I bought a couple and then found that I was using them so much that I went and bought some more. This last one here, whilst we're talking wrapping paper, I haven't yet used but plan to use. I got this from P&H something. I'm putting on the screen. I got this in London. Similar, I'm just going to use it to back my spread. I just haven't finished the spreads just yet for parts of my London trip. And then also from Signum, I got this blotting paper stamp from Signum. It comes with some blotting paper, which I understand you can easily get online. And I just really like the size. It was a really lovely size. They also had this teeny tiny little dip pen. And I use my dip pens when I'm swatching ink in one of my larger standard traveler's notebook journals. And I just thought that was so cute. So I got that as well. I think that's everything from Signum. When I was in London, they had some really cool stationery shops. In particular, I first went to the London Graphic Centre and purchased some stickers. I also got this Penco red clamp. These are lovely. They're not that heavy, and I find the pressure really sits in the hinge. So you just got to be careful what you're using to clamp. I also, oh no, that's all I got from London Graphic Centre if memory serves. I also went to Present and Correct. Beautiful shop. They had these stamps. I can't remember what the brand is of this stamp, but I've seen them online before, and I purchased this small stamp set, the number set. I think this is the small size in the serif font. I wanted the alphabet as well, but they only had the large, and I wanted the medium in the serif. So I left the alphabet behind, but did purchase the numbers. I thought this would add some good variability in my spreads. From Present and Correct, I also got this brass paperclip, mostly just to adorn any journals or pouches that I have. I then went to Papersmiths, which was a really sweet store, and I got this teeny tiny little 0.5mm pencil. This is very similar to the Oto pencils that I really love, the mechanical pencils. I had a little bit of trouble finding Oto in store in London, but Papersmith had their kind of branded version, and so did Choose and Keeping. So Choose and Keeping had their own version of the mechanical pencil in the 2mm, which I purchased as well. Also from Choose and Keeping, I got this pair of scissors. These are lovely. They let me test them in the shop, and they are actually very sharp. And I needed a pair of scissors, particularly for my paper work. I have a lot of embroidery scissors and small pairs of scissors, but I didn't have any that were like nice and sharp for paper. So I picked these up as well. Other than that, I mostly just purchased, as I said, ephemera and postcards, which are already in my journal. And that's all the stationery that I bought in Europe. However, I did make some purchases online or pre-orders that came whilst I was away. So I'm just going to quickly show you that, and then that's the end. I don't think I can tolerate talking anymore after this. We're having a day of silence from here on out. I'm sure many of you are aware by now, Traveller's Notebook, Traveller's Factory or Company, it's their 20th anniversary this year. And so they've come out with some really cool products, and one of the products, in addition to the card size journal, is also this tin, which I pre-ordered from Bookbinders, and it came in the mail whilst I was away. I just opened it this morning, and it's just so cool. So it comes in this beautiful tin with a leather strap. Inside the tin, you've got a couple of bits. First, you've got these 2 stamps. Very cool. There's a 20th anniversary brass clip. I love these. I think I've got almost every one, possibly. You then have some stickers. I love these stickers. I never use them because I just love collecting them. Here's a few just to show you. I love that one. I think it's like a kind of a tribute to all their special edition collections. So they've got the Dinah records, the 20th anniversary, the hotel, of course. Love that collection. Love my hotel. The coffee. So you've got those stickers. It's always so fun collecting the sticker packs. You've got the charm. This came wrapped in tissue paper that I've just undone, but you've just got this brass charm. There you go. And on the back is the 20th anniversary. And then you also have a history guide, which was really cool in a passport size. And this just goes through the history of Traveller's Company and all the special edition collections, which is really fun. This was a really cool tin. So that was delightful to come home to. Whilst I was away, I saw someone list the passport Traveller's Records special edition on a resale Facebook marketplace or like Facebook group, and I jumped on it. So when I came home, I did have the Traveller's Records notebook waiting for me. This has been on my wish list for years. I love this special edition. I was so upset that I wasn't collecting when this special edition came out. I didn't honestly never thought I would be able to find the Traveller's Records. They're so hard to come by. I've never gotten there in time. I was actually sitting at the airport when it got listed, and so I was on my phone and was able to snatch it up in minutes. I was right place, right time situation, and I am thrilled. It's in such good condition. First up, we've got the charm. That's just been disconnected whilst it travelled, so it didn't mark the leather. We've also got the stickers, which I'm not entirely sure if this is all the stickers or maybe some were used. But in terms of what is in here, you've got 4. It's just so cool. I love this collection. So you've got the stickers. We've also got the pouch, which for it to all be in the same, to be like available was unreal. And then the journal. Isn't it stunning? It's in such good condition. I remember the girl or lady who was selling it was like, oh, there's some marks on it. It is in such good condition. I couldn't be more thrilled. It's still got the feeling of the suede, like it's not too patina that the suede's come off. It's just, oh, I'm thrilled with it. It's pretty dark. I'm not sure if you can see it. Inside we've got the insert, the Traveler's Journal insert for the records. I'm going to cherish that forever. Oh my goodness, if you are still here, thank you so much for watching this video. This has to be my longest video I've ever done. There was a lot to get through. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. As I said, it's currently Sunday. On Wednesday, I'm flying to Tassie to go to a Christmas in July retreat with A Stitch in Time, and I'm so excited. It's my first proper retreat aside from the workshop with the stitchery. It's multi-day. It's going to be 3 days of such fun. I'm actually going to be, the retreat is 3 days. They've got like a pre-day kind of stitching room set up, and then I'm going to do some exploring on Wednesday of Tassie. I'm so excited. I will do a recap of the retreat when I get back. I hope to have some really serious haul, and then I'm on a serious spending ban, but I can't wait. I don't have an LNS in Melbourne. The idea of getting to walk around A Stitch in Time and see like charts in person or like cottons and silks in person is so exciting. So I can't wait. I'll talk to you after, when I'm obviously a changed woman, being gone to my first retreat. Thank you so much for your support. To everyone who's new here that's come from Instagram, it's so nice to have you here. Please, if you like my content, I'd love your support if you can like, subscribe. My Instagram is linked down below for more kind of live, up-to-date updates. I never want to talk again. That's it from me. Thanks.